The decisions they make influence sports in Arizona now and in the future. Every move they make is news. Doug and Wolf present Newsmakers Week 2014. Presented by National Bank of Arizona. Arizona Sports. Now on 98.7 FM.
Talking to head coach Dave Tippett of the Phoenix Coyotes, who's come in for Newsmakers Week presented by National Bank of Arizona. We were talking kind of generic and Olympic hockey before, so let's now completely focus directly on the Phoenix Coyotes. Your ups and downs, Wolf told you this in what we call the not-so-beautiful part of the program. Some of your comments this year have just been legendary. Your frustration after some of the games, yet I would have to assume, how do you take this team and get them consistent? Because I'm assuming the word inconsistent is what's driving you the most crazy this year.
Well, it has, and there's been different parts. If you know, it's like we put our finger on one hole and then another hole opens up, you know. So really it's about getting everybody, you know, playing well at the right time. And, you know, Schmitty has been really good for stretches and then had some times where he struggled. And, you know, our defending and penalty killing has had some issues, and then it's kind of come along lately, and our goals dry up. So it's about getting everything going the right way. And, you know, it's so competitive right now. I mean, every team is pushing and trying to get those playoff spots, and every game matters so much. So I think there's more onus put on the outcome every game. Mm-hmm. You know, our team is interesting because we can, you know, you beat Pittsburgh and you beat Chicago and you set kind of new standards for yourself, and then you slip up to Buffalo. You know, I mean,
with all due respect to Wolf, of course.
Yeah. So those are the challenge we're working with, and hopefully we can come together at the right time for this last push.
You know, I realize that Shane Doan, Captain Coyote, right, is the captain of your hockey club, and I couldn't think of a better guy to do it. But he can't do it alone, Tip, right? Yeah. He needs other leaders in that dressing room as well to step forward. Has he received that? Yeah,
I mean, when he missed some time there, he missed a month or so with that illness. Some guys stepped up. I think Keith Yandel had his best month probably of the 5 years that I've been coaching. Really? He really played well. Antoine Vermette played very well. So Shane coming back, you know, Shane has a big voice in that dressing room. He's probably the best captain that I've ever been around in hockey. Just is so well respected on and off the ice. That being said, he needed this break. Coming back from that illness, he's never quite got back to where he was, you know, at the start of the season. So he's had some challenges there, you know, to get, when you're the captain, you want to be playing your best.
Yes.
And he hasn't been, you know, 100% here, so he's struggling with his game. I think the break will be good for him to come back. So his leadership is, without question, a real valuable part of our team. But there are some other players, like you got Yandel, Vermette, Hansel, Mikhailuk. These guys, they can help, but they can help with their play and in the locker room, and it'll make us a better team.
You know, I can't imagine how many times you've been asked a Shane Doan question, but I don't want to gloss over what you just said about his captaincy. This is about a year ago. We blog on our ArizonaSports.com site, and I wrote an article that called him the greatest captain of all time. And I did not mean he's going to the Hall of Fame. I did not mean it as he's the greatest player of all time. But I said no captain in the history of sports has dealt with as much crap as he had. And look the way he's come out of it, and look what he's done for the city, the team, and then, you know, plays well on the ice as a leader. And you just said you haven't been around one like him. With all your years in this sport, what makes him different than any other captain?
You know what? His loyalty to the organization or to his teammates is unparalleled. And, you know, we saw that where he could have jumped to another team, you know, that had solid ownership, made a lot more money. He's committed to this organization, and that's how it's kind of how he lives his life. I mean, he's a wonderful family guy. He's an honest, down-to-earth person that is a really good hockey player, and he just has that personality where people follow him, and he's like I say, unbelievable captain, and he's such a good person, you know, that makes him, the captaincy is just natural to him.
Yeah. Tip, you mentioned that Smitty's been a little inconsistent. Do you have any theories as to why this is? Why?
Yeah, you know
Good
what?
question, because Garrett just tweeted in that exact question about how do you get Smitty consistent.
Yeah, you know, he's Schmitty thinks a lot. He's a thinker, and I this year with the Olympic situation, I think that was pushing him a little bit. And Schmitty's biggest thing is he's got to relax and play. When he doesn't play well, he's over-trying. He's overthinking. We always laugh. It says goalie should just put his hand up and catch the puck. And when Schmitty gets thinking too much, he wants to grab the puck. So
Right.
he's almost over-committing to things, and we just got to get him relaxed. And we gave him a couple days off there 10 days ago, and he came back and played 3 really strong games. We're hoping, we first found out about Schmitty 2 years ago in February. He didn't lose in February and was great in the stretch run and took it to the conference finals. That's the Schmitty we're looking for the stretch drive here.
Yeah.
And you're starting to see that right before the Olympic break. So what do you expect from him coming out of the Olympic break? Do you wait till he comes back and talk to him about it?
Yeah.
Do you leave goalies alone like kickers and closers?
Well,
how do you talk to him?
In our game, it's the only guy that we hire a special coach for. So he talks to Berkey quite a bit. But I think the Olympics would be really good for Schmitty. I'm not sure he's going to play over there. Right now, I think they've got him kind of pegged as a third goalie. You never know what happens. A guy gets hot and he gets thrown in there. But I think it'll be really good for him to be around those players in that atmosphere, and just the preparation, the mental preparation going into games, under pressure games like that. I think it'll be really good for him, and I think he'll be excited to get back. And I know when I talked to him just before he left, he felt like his game was coming around and looking forward to the stretch drive. So hopefully we get the best of Schmitty there.
Tip, I've got to ask you this philosophical question, but I've got to ask this, right? In football, I don't believe it's a prerequisite that you're tough anymore. I don't believe that. You can play the game and play it well and not maybe be the toughest guy or one of the toughest guys around. In the game of hockey, I still think that you have to be tough as a prerequisite. Do you agree with that?
No, I would agree with you because if you're not tough in hockey, and tough doesn't mean fighting.
No.
Right? To me, tough is mental
Yes.
strength, right? To be able to push through things, push through fatigue, or push through a bad call. And if you're basically in hockey, if you're not tough, if your team's not tough, you're not going to win. Just simple as that. It's a prerequisite of winning is you have to have toughness on your team. And again, not fighting toughness, mental toughness, just the ability to do what it takes to win.
Tell us about the 2014 Phoenix Coyotes, because we always ask this question to end Newsmakers Week for every guest, in which you get to talk directly to the fans who you know better than anybody what the Coyotes fans have been through for the last few years as well. What do you want Coyotes fans and people that are still kind of on the fence, that have not been to a live NHL game and realize the excitement, what do you want fans to know about the Coyotes?
Well, that we're going to continue to build. We think we can build a contending team here. It's funny, when we thought we were doing all right, we didn't have an owner, but now you got stability. Now you want to take that next step. And everybody, the new ownership, Don Maloney, our coaching staff and players, they're anxious to take the next step. And that's, I think that's led to a little bit of the inconsistency this year because we are trying some different things, but we want to be a competitive team, an elite team, not just an also-ran team. And we're in that step forward right now. I think some of the draft picks we got coming, some of the, the identity we've set for our team is the right way. Now it's just a matter of putting it all together.
Love your style, Tip. Respect what you do, man. Thank you for coming down here. We
Appreciate it, guys.
your time.
No problem.
No better place to spend an Olympic break.
Yeah.
Dave Tippett's supposed to have some time off, and he has to spend it with Wolf.
You wouldn't want to be in Sochi, I can tell you that.
Yeah, that's devotion to you, the fans, for him coming in. Coming up next, after Dave Tippett, it's time for the Suns. Lon Babby, president of basketball operations. Trade deadline coming up February 20th. Are the Suns going to make moves? That's coming up on Arizona Sports, now on 98.7 FM.
The decisions they make influence sports in Arizona now and in the future. Every move they make is news. Doug and Wolf present Newsmakers Week 2014, presented by National Bank of Arizona. Arizona Sports, now on 98.7 FM.